To discuss the latest developments in the Middle East and provide an analysis of the shifting regional landscape, we're joined by Ahmed Fathi, UN Correspondent and Global Affairs Analyst, joining us from the New York City Metropolitan Area. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Sir, given Iran's claim that the Memorandum of Understanding has effectively collapsed, what are the main factors that could determine whether diplomatic engagement between Tehran and Washington can be revived or whether tensions will escalate further?
First, the memorandum may have been damaged, but diplomatic channels rarely disappear completely. History shows Washington and Tehran often negotiate even under and during periods of confrontation. As for the factors which will determine the next phase, I would say there is three main factors. First, the political will in Washington and Tehran to absorb the domestic criticism for returning to talks. On both sides, you have parties that they are against the bilateral or the negotiations between Pakistan, Iran, and the United States. And also, there is the military restraint, the absence of another major incident, i.e., Iran to suspend firing and attacking commercial ships sailing through the Strait of Hormuz. And the U.S. will accordingly suspend its military operation. It is essential because any major incident in between the U.S. and Iran will automatically lead to an overwhelming escalation, and miscalculation can be overwhelm diplomacy. The third factor would be credible intermediaries such as Pakistan, Qatar, Oman, or other trusted regional actors. We are not lost that hope yet, although at this particular point of time, the mediation is not really visible or even under consideration, and that have to be in consideration. However, the fundamental challenge is a profound mistrust between the US and Iran and vice versa.
Sir, Iran accuses the United States of using negotiations while maintaining military pressure. How credible is this allegation, and what strategic objectives might both sides have pursued during the talks?
From Tehran's perspective, the accusation is credible because diplomacy and deterrence have long operated simultaneously in US policy. From Washington perspective, on the other hand, military pressure is used as leverage, designed to strengthen, not replace the negotiating position. This is a classic pressure and dialogue strategy that have characterized U.S.-Iran relations for decades. It's not a new thing. Iran is seeking sanctions relief, security guarantees, recognition of its regional influence, preservation of strategic deterrence. While on the other side, the U.S. is seeking limits on Iran military and nuclear capabilities, protection of regional partners who are, excuse my expression, being treated as a sandbag by Iran. If the Iran fires at commercial shipping in the Straits, the U.S. retaliates, and then Iran, on the other side, attacks U.S. allies in the region, the GCC countries and Jordan. The freedom of navigation, this is the heart of the crisis at this point of time. And there is a need for the US and its allies to prevent a broader regional war. A regional war, nobody wins. It's going to be hemorrhaging the regional resources on all sides. So there is no winner out of this. And at the end, they will have to sit down and negotiate. Both sides entered the negotiations seeking concession without appearing politically weak at home. The Iranians don't want to show that they have been lost this confrontation. The United States, especially this year with the midterm elections, and President Trump's stance on Iran and policy on Iran doesn't want to show that he is weakening or have given up.
All right, sir. If Iran and the United States remain divided over issues such as regional security, sanctions relief, and military actions, what are the possible consequences for stability in the Middle East and global energy security, in your opinion?
The short and intermediate risk is probably a full-scale regional war. But a prolonged period of recurring crisis, the region could witness more proxy confrontations. Iran has the Houthis in Yemen controlling the Strait of Bab el-Mandeb, the Red Sea. They have Hezbollah in Lebanon. They have Hamas, or the remainance of Hamas in Gaza, and other sleeper cells across the region. Greater military deployments. The US will not sit idle watching, and that means that there's going to be more troops sent to the region, repositioned from other points, especially from Europe, in addition to increased naval and air force striking power. And of course, the international shipping will be facing uncertainty. And this uncertainty results in increased insurance on the vessels, and that could add to the cost of the transportation of the shipments. Energy markets, although they have become more resilient than in previous decades, but still instability around the Strait of Hormuz would still affect insurance costs, freight rates, and oil prices, and which we have seen after the prices reached almost $100. It started to come down after the memorandum, and now it started to go up again, but not to the previous level. Diplomatically, that dialogue weakens regional confidence in a negotiated solution and increase the retaliation, military, and deterrence. Ultimately, the greatest danger is not a single crisis, but a gradual normalization of instability, where diplomacy becomes reactive instead of preventive.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for your analysis. Thank you for joining us.